you beautiful bastards on the YouTube vinyl community. It's Vatican here from Weekly Rations, and it's time I checked in with some new pickups. I haven't seen you in a while, haven't been talking to anyone in a while, haven't watched videos, I haven't commented. A lot of things going on obviously in real life, new job and keeping me very busy, and we had a house guest stay over for a while in our living room because they were having trouble getting up downstairs. So 9 weeks without listening to a record, it's a long time, but I kept the faith. If you check this pile out, I kept the faith. I've been buying a good few records recently, mostly new releases, funny enough, just stuff that I fancied picking up when it came out, and one new artist who I just got turned on to by chance. So without further ado, let's have a run through. So new to me completely was Mr. Kurt Weill. I had heard his name and seen reviews on Pitchfork and stuff over the years, but I hadn't really paid any attention. I just put it into the stoner rock category and never really thought any more of it. But I was doing like a 14-hour shift one Saturday on my new job, and it was a long day, and towards the end of the night I was just thinking, right, I need something to chill out to while I was working, and I put a YouTube playlist on of this guy. And you know, it is that type of music that you can just sort of drift away into, so I was able to work and listen at the same time. So I just sort of thought, I'll investigate him later. So you know, streamed the albums through iTunes Music and really liked them. So I figured next time I was in town, go to my local and see what they have. So I think I timed it just right in that his new record's just been released. I suppose the week or two before. So I managed to catch the limited edition gatefold. So I think the third record is just instrumental tracks or something, I'm not sure, or remixes or something, I'm not sure. I haven't got that far yet. I've just really focused on the album, the two discs. So at the same time as I picked up Mr. Weill album, Walking on a Pretty Days, which is really good. They're both really good albums. Unfortunately, I think all the limited edition versions of this that are out, I think there's a version that has stickers and you can stick them on here yourself. The version of this is probably just a reissue from this year. But you know, I like my local indie store, so I like just buying what they have on the shelves. I'm not that fussy. So again, he's not really just stoner rock. You know, there's a classic rock to him. But what I like about it is he's a bit of a dreamer. So his lyrics and his introspection is kind of all in and around what's swirling around in his head. It's not so much what he says or does in his life, it's kind of just what he's thinking. And I like that. I like that kind of introspection and drawing into yourself. But you know, he's not like a hermit or a acid junkie. He's a fully functional guy with, I think, a wife and 2 kids, and he's got a good sense of humor. So that for me also caught my ears. You know, a lot of the times you're laughing at something sort of silly or throwaway in the song, but it sort of touches a note. So I guess I'm a big fan now. So unfortunately he's playing here this weekend or next weekend, and I can't get to see him. I have nobody to go with, so I don't fancy the drive on my own. So he's new to me and I like him a lot. Ezra Furman, a guy from Chicago who's interesting, shall we say. So a friend of mine got me into Ezra. He told me to stream this album and check it out, and I agreed with him. It is a great album. So many punchy, punky songs, brassy, soulful songs, a couple of acoustic downers. You know, it's got a real mix. Didn't know really very much about Ezra at all, so it turns out he's an interesting character, and I'm sure you'll find out if you read about him. Lovely blue. So I picked this up at the gig last Monday a few weeks ago. Him and his band were playing in Belfast, so he signed it for me. I think I got the guitarist to sign it too. I sort of held off buying it from the shops because I knew the gig was coming up and I wanted to throw him a few quid. So I also got his previous album, Day of the Dog. So between the two of them, I mean, they're both really good albums, but between the two of them, you probably have his best work. So you could take maybe 6 tunes off each album and you would have, you know, a 10 out of 10 absolute classic. So the guy is very talented, and he writes really interesting songs about himself and about like genders and transsexual. I don't really know exactly how he would classify himself. I think the whole point is he doesn't want to be classified, and I fully support that. Dude, whatever you want. So he's an interesting character. Next up on the new release schedule is the new album from my pal Josh Ritter. So as you probably know, I'm a Josh Ritter fan and I have been for years. Collected all the stuff on CD back when it was banned vinyl, and I've been trying to pick up his stuff ever since on vinyl. I just think he's the best American singer-songwriter out there. He is genuine, the genuine article. Interesting, thought-provoking, evocative lyrics. He can tell a tale and a story in a very, very unique way. Decent musicianship. I like the band that he plays with. He's been sticking with these guys for a couple of years now, and I like their sound. I love the production. I love everything about it. Now, this record, he streamed a track called Getting Down, or Getting Ready to Get Down, and I didn't really like its vibe. It has a distinctly country vibe, and it wasn't really for me. But what it's like after 3 or 4 listens, it starts to gel. So I'm only 2 listens into the album. I'm not really sure where I stand on it. Some of it I haven't really liked as much. I think he recorded it in New Orleans, and he wanted quite a, I guess, relaxed recording. I don't know. I don't know enough yet to really say if I don't like it. I certainly like it okay, but I think it's going to be a grower for me. And keeping up with the theme, I think it's another lovely blue vinyl. Ben Folds released his latest solo record, which is an orchestra-based piece. So there's 8 new songs that he's done with a group called Y Music. I think it's like a 6-piece orchestra of some description. And then there's a piece that he was commissioned for Nashville University. Nashville, I think so, that he did with the Nashville Symphony Orchestra. And then a couple of instrumental pieces to make up the end of the record. So just bought this blind, myself and my wife are both big Ben Folds fans, and have been for a long time. So I hadn't even listened to any of it before I bought it. I thought, well, what the hell, support your artist and all that. So we played it twice and we did really like it. Not so much the orchestra piece, because it's probably something you'd maybe like to hear live, or you have to be in the mood to listen to. So it wasn't really suitable for a Friday night wine and conversation night to listen to the music. But certainly the 8 pieces that he's done with Y Music are very good and very interesting. And he's always had strings and stuff in his work, so it's not like a massive departure, but you can just tell that it's it's much more produced and written. You spent a lot of time putting the arrangements together, and they're probably more beautiful than your average throw in some strings onto this section of the song. So I'm enjoying it. In fact, I'm probably going to spin it here today on this lazy Sunday morning. Pavement, obviously one of my top 3 bands, I suppose. In a couple of years ago, they reissued all the albums in the deluxe version with the second disc that had B-sides, peel sessions, all the stuff released around that era. So this year they finally decided to bring it up to speed and do a vinyl release. So it's the exact same track listing that is on the deluxe versions of the CDs. So this falls into the slanted and enchanted territory, obviously. Which I have most of this content already on vinyl. Pretty much all of it on vinyl. Apart from obviously the peel sessions, and fatten it out a bit with a live gig in Brixton in '92. So I don't know if I would call this essential. It probably is essential already, and I suppose it saves me digging out all the 7 inches and 12 inches. But I like it. I like a compilation that is done well. So I like to have the original 7 inches and 12 inches as it is, because I'm a collector. But when you get something as nicely done as this, it's well worth buying. So I'm a big fan. So I'm looking forward to the follow-ups. I think if the sales go well, they will be reissuing all of them on vinyl, hopefully. So I guess they've got my seal already. Before in a video, because I haven't been on so long, is the latest Sufjan Stevens album. So in case I have talked about it already, I'll not spend too long on it. Apart from it is obviously my album of 2015, and if you're a Sufjan Stevens fan, you're obviously already own it. If you're not a Sufjan Stevens fan, it's certainly a nice place to start because it's an absolutely beautiful record, and you know, I don't know how he continues to top himself, you know, and come out with such an amazing body of work. Myself and my wife went to see him a few months ago in Dublin, and he played a spectacular gig with his band. You know, almost album perfect sort of performances at times, and then you know, on a few tunes he really let rip, and you know, I wouldn't say jammed out, but you know, he went to places with some of the songs. Some of them, you know, quite aggressive and loud, and you know, difficult at times in the right way. You know, just overpowering sonically. So we had a great gig and we really enjoyed it. And you know, this is without a doubt my album of the year. And there's been a few albums. Sorry, to be fair, there's little albums that have really challenged it. Lots of great work out there. You know, some of the stuff I've shown, all brilliant albums, but there aren't any of them that are going to live with me forever like this album is going to. I mean, that's an interesting way to put it, live with me forever, but it is, this is one of those albums that you're going to go back to time and time again in your life. Reach out to it for whatever reason you have. You know, this is the one. Little 10 inches from a local guy here to me in Northern Ireland who used to live just up the road from the town I was brought up in, and I remember seeing his old band a few times over the years. So we've kind of gone solo. This is a piece of work that he's done with another fella called Ryan Vale. So it's Cian Lavery and Ryan Vale, and it's really interesting. It's that kind of slowed down singer-songwriter meets electronica kind of vibe going on. You know, there's a lot of sounds from the real world, you know, boats and conversations and stuff, with pieces of music throughout it. So it's interesting. Lovely colour, lovely. It is lovely. Part of me wishes it was kind of had a wee bit more body to it, because it almost seems like it could have been an album, but some of the pieces kind of a wee bit drifty, you know, they're not quite enough to them. I just felt that maybe it could have been a little bit more. I don't mean to criticise, because I do like it, but there was just something about it that left me a wee bit short. I don't know how to describe it any better than that, but it's nice. So the release is from my main man, Mark Kozak, under his name Sun Kill Moon. So this is Universal Themes, and I think, you know, if you know or follow Mark Kozak, excuse me, that this is following up on his successful album from last year, Benji. Excuse me. So he seems to have done it again. So whereas Benji was very much based on his current songwriting style, which is stream of consciousness, and you know, talk about what's going on in your life and talk about your family and talk about how you feel on that particular day, which served him really well. Benji was very successful. He seems to court some controversy sometimes when he does these kind of songs, because if something happens on the road, like the war on drugs he had an argument with, and writes a song about them and blah blah blah. So he's kind of stayed the same for this album. So it's very much, in fact, even probably less about his family and more about the year since Benji. You know, you can almost pinpoint when he wrote the songs to what he's talking about in them. You know, being on the road or being filming a movie or whatever else. So it's definitely as good as Benji. Musically, he's taken it a wee bit further, and sometimes you would be fair to say that it can get grating, because he starts shouting a wee bit. It's a bit off-putting at times. I know it's put off a lot of his fans. I did get to see him live a couple of months ago when he played here, and he was doing a bit of that, you know, the shouting and the squealing into the mic. But the crowd didn't seem to mind. He was certainly in a very good mood that night. A lot of humour, a lot of charm, a lot of interaction with the crowd, and a brilliant gig. It was in a converted ballroom. There's maybe 200-300 people at it. It was, you know, small and intimate, but it was sold out, and it was beautiful. And I was so glad to finally get to see him live after not taking various opportunities in the past. So it could have been an album of the year. I mean, Benji was my album of the year last year, but it isn't. It's a great album, but it wasn't up there with my man Sufjan. Got a few 7-inches then that I've picked up over the last couple of months that are rattled through them a bit quicker. So Sufjan Stevens had a tour 7-inch available at the gigs, so I couldn't resist picking that up. It's just the standard black vinyl version of it, but I think it's a remix of one of the tunes. Actually haven't listened to it yet because I've only just got my turntable back, so I think I'll just put that on shortly. I picked up a record store day on the cheap a couple of months later, I suppose. It's the Brass Buttons song by Graham Parsons, also covered by Lemonheads on the other side. Ezra Furman had a tour 7-inch available as well, so I figured to pick that up since it was throwing so much money at the guy anyway, buying his records. This is an interesting one. This is a local guy from my country who, the story goes, just emailed Kim Deal and asked her to do some vocals on this record, the song that he's recording. So, and she agreed. So it's really nice. So Kim sings, I guess, intertwining vocal line between him and her. It's kind of a slow country feel to it. I'll rattle through some older stuff that I picked up. I'm trying to make it a wee bit quicker this time because I'm talking too much. I got 2 copies of the Pixies Come On Pilgrim EP. Struggled to work out which one of these was an original pressing and which one is a reissue because everything seems to be the same about them. So I went to Twitter and asked people on Twitter, and people started digging out their copy that they bought on the day of release and all this kind of stuff. So as far as I can remember, it looks like it's the matte copy that is the OG. So I got to send that off to my buddy Ned in the States at some point. Because I promised him some new stuff. I did a trade with Jerry Shrimp, I forget his YouTube channel name, for this, so I'm over the moon about this. This is probably the most underrated grunge band that never made it, if that makes sense. They're more of a heavy rock kind of band anyway than a grunge band, who seem to get caught up in the hype at the time. And this is their second album, and for me it's a masterpiece in this genre. I've been a big fan of it for years and years. I think I had a CD copy for a long time. They're just kind of that Midwestern whiskey and hard living, I suppose. I'm just trying to think of the right way to put it. It's one of those bands that I guess we would have listened to in university, and if we were going out at night or when you're coming back full of beer and you stick on the stereo real loud, it would have been something like this, and probably Nirvana and all those guys like. So it was a great trade and I'm so happy, so thanks for that. The second or third Silver Jews album, sorry I haven't got a sleeve for it yet, so I've left the shrink wrap on it. This has probably got 6 or so of my favourite Silver Jews songs on it. So for me this was definitely a must have, and I don't know why I waited so long picking it up on record. I Had to Rent a Room, Pet Politics, Black and Brown Blues, Dallas, Pretty Eyes, like those 5 songs alone are some of the best work that David Berman's ever done. So what's not to like? I picked this up off eBay in the States. This is The Books, a band that were kind of new to me maybe last year, and out of all their albums this is the one that I've really enjoyed the most. So I decided I couldn't afford the box set that they released of all their records, so I decided just to pick up this one particular record. Probably the only one I think I really need to own out of them all. They're a nice band and I like listening to them in work because you can kind of keep them in the background, without annoying you too much. I got this pretty cheap on eBay in the States, and my buddy Tom sent it over to me, so quality. Picked up this for cheap in a local store. For some reason they had it sitting for a tenner, £10, so I couldn't resist. I am a fan of The National, although I'm not a completist. In fact, this is the first record of theirs I've owned. but I certainly like to listen to them, you know, stream them and stuff. So couldn't pass that up, and it also came on. It's over here. A nice violet vinyl. So having my collection, I've kind of been reviewing some of the stuff and thinking, what holes do I need to fill? So Bug wasn't in there. So this was just a tenner, I think, from a local second-hand store. It's a UK first press, which I thought was nice, although I'm not overly bothered. It's definitely one of those teenage albums that, you know, I should own and I've loved for years, so I couldn't understand why I don't. The last one is another Mark Kozak album. Actually, I forgot to show that. That's What Next to the Moon, which is AC/DC covers that he did a few years ago and released. Absolutely flawless interpretations of the AC/DC songs. You will not believe that these are AC/DC songs, you know, unless you really know them. So I've just dug out this out of my collection to do the final rip of the two of them together, Bad Boy Boogie. That's really it for me. I have some more pickups along the Red House Painters Mark Kozak vein that I'm going to save and do a dedicated video at some point. So waiting on one more record coming to sort of complete a part of that collection, and then I'll do a dedicated Red House Painters video. Apart from that, if you're still here, thanks for watching. It's been a good purchasing couple of months. I'll probably stop now up until Christmas and just actually listen to what I've picked up and decide on something new for Christmas to treat myself with. Either concentrate on the holes or go for some pricier records, shall we say. So I haven't decided yet. But shout out to all my final car, my buddies.